I'm so happy to talk to the amazing Chris Hadfield. We obviously are longtime friends.
I am so happy to be talking to the amazing M. Gryner. Yeah, longtime friend and musical inspiration. So pleasure to be talking with you, Em.
Thank you. You got the script I sent you, I see. So we wrote a song for Jeremy Hansen to commemorate his part in the Artemis 2 mission, but also to celebrate his life and work. And as it was coming together, I was so fortunate to be able to just get on the phone with you because you are the guru of space and music. Let's just face it. What is it like to be a Canadian about to do something historic in space?
Jeremy has been getting ready for this flight since he was 5 years old,
Hmm.
when he first became aware of space flight. And his parents were good enough to take him all the way down to where he's about to launch. You know, he went there as a kid, and now that's the reality of his life. That means it feels surreal.
Hmm.
And even more so because he's been practicing specifically and training for this flight for years and years. And so as the real launch approaches, it's just another day of realistic training. And
Hmm.
there's a little kid, the 5-year-old, running around inside you going, "Hey, we're about to go to space." But the big grown-up adult Jeremy is going, "Well, that's been happening for 45 years." And he won't allow himself to believe that it is actually going to happen until when they've already been orbiting the world for a day and they light up that big engine again to accelerate them from orbital speed to the speed necessary to escape from Earth and go to the moon, the trans-lunar injection burn. And Jeremy will not allow himself to believe that this is all real until that burn is complete and they are irrevocably headed towards the moon. That's going to be a huge music-filled moment for him. And everything else up until then, it's kind of like gratification deferred.
Wow, that's just incredible. I wonder, you having this perspective of almost what he might be feeling, what the crew might be feeling, what it feels like. What is it going to be like for you?
When I went to space the last time on my third space flight, one of the people that was taking care of my family was Jeremy Hansen.
Wow.
And so he's asked me, he and his wife Catherine have asked me to come and take that role for his family now. And so at the moment of launch, I'll be with his mom and dad and all of his extended family and friends, looking around and thinking what a moment this is for his mom and dad,
Hmm.
because they helped create the young Canadian that is doing this incredibly dangerous and incredibly new thing. And it's amazing because light travels so much faster than sound that you'll be able to see the engines light, and then the rocket start to lift off, but only as it's clearing the tower will the rumbling, incredibly powerful sound make it all the way and start shaking our chests. And you're right in the thick of everything, about as close as you can be to actually getting in the rocket and going. So I'm really privileged that Jeremy and Catherine have asked me.
I always feel comforted with you whenever I travel with you or, we're backstage or whatever. There's something about, the fact that you've accomplished so many things that are very historic, but they're dangerous, but they're also, they've forwarded space exploration, forwarded humanity.
I feel
Comfort.
comforted when I'm on stage playing music with you. Such a deeply capable and original and interesting musician. And so I've learned an awful lot from you, and we've done some fun things together as well. So it's good to have someone near you that you can trust. And the reason you trust them is because they've done all the hard work and they've earned their stripes to be there. And hopefully, if the Canadian Space Agency and NASA and Jeremy have done their jobs right, even though Jeremy's going to be doing something incredibly dangerous to fly that brand new rocket and then to fly that brand new spaceship, he won't be at all overwhelmed. He'll be
Mm,
just like an old musician on stage who knows all the words,
right.
and is actually looking at the audience reaction and finding a way to make this as great and full as possible.
So tell me a little bit about how music plays a role for astronauts in flight.
When it's morning, how does mission control get the day going for them. And one of the long traditions we found that works really effectively is instead of just getting on the radio and going, hey, good morning, Artemis, or something, and yanking everybody out of their sleeping bags, just play some music, especially some music that means something to one of the crew. When we were undocked on my very first space flight, we were building the space station Mir. And as we undocked from Mir, a big moment, we built a piece onto this space station. And so the proof of what we had done was right there in front of us. And it worked so hard for years to make this happen. And there we are backing away. The music that we put on in the cockpit, and we were doing this, was from 2001, A Space Odyssey. The music is important in helping to illustrate and help us understand the significance of what's going on. And so Jeremy and his 3 American crewmates, they're going to be in a very small spaceship going an incredibly long way, but there will be music playing in the background.
Yeah.
And when you're floating next to the window, watching the world get smaller and smaller behind you and the moon get bigger and bigger in front of you, it's a lovely and necessary undercurrent of truly appreciating what's going on.
When you made Space Oddity, when we made it together, I think there was a chance to be like larger than life, and it was a big song, right? And I think with this song, Touch the Sky, that's what we are really trying to go for. What is it about that symbiosis of like big music and space, do you think?
I think music helps us explain our lives to ourselves. For me, when a song truly gets close to the purpose of it or the meaning of it, I feel a whole shiver up my back. When we worked together on Space Oddity, the way that you put that beautiful piano work in and that Joe Corcoran put all that amazing music into the background, it sends a rush up my back even now, when I listen to it. It's just so beautifully, powerfully done. The song that you have created for Jeremy and his crew and for Jeremy's family with Touch the Sky, there's 2 moments in it every single time I listen to it where that rush goes up my back, where you've been sort of laying the groundwork, getting familiar. It's sort of like writing a story, you introduce the characters, and then suddenly, wow, this happens. And you've just done a magnificent job, I think, of letting the listener get some sort of intuitive, visceral feel of the magnificent moments of this space flight, of launch, of firing your engines to go to the moon, of the surreal peace of going past the moon and around to the dark side, and then of course of both the danger and the power and the magnificence of reentry. I love the soundtrack of magnificence that you have built to help celebrate this human achievement.
Oh, thank you so much. It's interesting because us on Earth here can only imagine the things that you and Jeremy and other astronauts have done. It's almost like we can't even, like, we can try with our orchestras and our drums and everything to try to, imagine what that's like. But I just have so much admiration. You guys really live it. So thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
I'm so proud to know you and excited for what you've created.
Oh, thank you. Well, have a wonderful day. It's so great to see you.
Good to see you also. Thanks, Em. Take care.